Hey y'all, hey, welcome to Hair Talk Tuesday, where we talk about all things hair. I'm your girl, Courtney Ewing, trichologist and certified hair loss practitioner. I study the hair and scalp and different scalp disorders, and today's topic is the truth about protective styles. How y'all doing today? Let me let me pull up my stuff, y'all. Hey Shonda, hey Anaya. Before I go into this topic, I do want to give my little 2 cents on the whole toxic braiding hair. I've been seeing two sides. Hey, Chicago, but it's always going to be Des Moines, Iowa. Always, baby. Born and bred, baby. But I like Chicago. Yeah, I. Okay, so I do want to give my 2 cents on the whole toxic braiding hair. I'm seeing two sides to it. I'm seeing folks, they're like, why did they do an oral test? We're not actively or purposely eating hair. But to my knowledge, isn't skin the largest organism and it absorbs what we put on it? And that can affect how things work inside the body. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's how that works. So, yeah, I'm not sure. And then there's a lot of young girls who like to chew on their braids. They're doing their work and chewing their braids, and I was one. So that's how I know that they do it. I chewed on my braids. So my 2 cents is, nothing's changed. It just looks different. And there are companies who offer toxic free hair like Easy Braid, and that's the letter E, the letter Z, and then braid. And then there's also Rebundle. If you guys have any other companies who offer toxic free hair, please drop them in the chat. This is a community, and we help each other. So yes, skin is the largest organism. It's going to absorb what touches it. That's take a shower with your braids. Man, yeah. They did what they did. We peeped it, and now we're going to move accordingly. Also, this is not the first warning that we've gotten with braiding hair. I've been seeing stories for years, like put you in the hospital. There's a lady who braided her hair and then she wiped her eyes. She almost went blind, was in the hospital. So this is definitely not the first warning. It should definitely be the last because I think we all peeping game now. So there's my 2 cents on that topic. I do think it's targeted. I do feel it's intentional, but like I said, ain't nothing changed. It just looks different. You just got to peep it, move accordingly. Oh, and for orders, if you ordered last week, you should have gotten a notification. Those orders are out. If you ordered this week, those orders will be out by Friday. The Bloom and Breeze is out of stock, and the Flourishing Hair Cream is out of stock. And because those two are out of stock, the bundle deal is also out of stock. But they will be back in a couple weeks. Had to throw that out there. So today's topic, the truth about protective styles. It's going to start with two questions. I'm going to ask you guys a question. I need you to comment your answers. please comment your answers. And it's just going to be this or that. That's it. Don't explain nothing. We don't care about none of that right now. We'll explain it later. Just this, or you're going to have two options, this or that. That's it. So, are protective styles good or bad? That's the first question. I just need a good or a bad. I don't need good because da 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 da. No, just good or bad. And then I'll answer. And then we'll go on to the next one. And then we'll explain. Okay, we have a good, okay, good. And then I'm going to go ahead and answer. Good. That's mine. Next one. Are protective styles needed or wanted? I don't know. I don't need no needed because none of that. Just needed or wanted. That's it. Okay, we have a wanted. Wanted, okay. Okay, wanted, okay. I am going to go with needed. But let me explain. Now here comes the explanation. So, a protective style is a style that you get that protects your hair by tucking away the ends and limiting manipulation. And it needs to last at least 1 week. It can go longer, but it needs to last at least 1 week. So if you have a hair care regimen and that you're tough on your hair care regimen, you know that thing going, it's bumping, it's jumping. And you put in your protective style, you don't, the whole, take your hair out of protective style, take your hair out of protective style. That, you need to let your hair breathe too, a little too. Let it breathe. But that's what a protective style is, to protect your hair, because the more you manipulate the hair, so if they're doing something to their hair every day, that's going to break it down over time. So that's not the best habit to have. If we're talking about healthy hair, that's all. If we're talking about healthy hair. So there's a very, very thin line between a protective hairstyle and a hairstyle, though. This is a difference. Protective hairstyle, I said, this is a style that it doesn't cause harm to the hair. It's just something that you do with the hair to tuck the ends and limit manipulation. That's what it does. It helps you retain length because, like I said, you're not manipulating your hair every day. And then a hairstyle is just a hairstyle. It could be damaging, but it's just a hairstyle. So you could think you're getting a protective style and it end up not being a protective style because, like I said, it's a thin line. Box braids, that is a protective style. But once you get box braids done and they're too tight, and you could tell they're too tight, you get those little bumps around it, your scalp is saying, I don't really like this. And if you y'all know I know I did it when I was a kid, getting your hair braided, and it'd be too tight and your neck is just stiff. Somebody talk to you and you're like, that's how you got to turn. You can't hit them with that turn. You gotta, yeah, like it's stiff because the style is too tight. That's not a protective style. That is a hairstyle. And a protective style does not have to include weave or extensions or anything like that. It could be done with your natural hair. I say even a twist out is a protective style because you prep it at the end of the week. You do your shampoo, you do your conditioner, you do your treatment, and then twist it up. You take those twists down, they bumping and jumping because your hair care regimen is bumping and jumping. And that can last you for a week. Put it up in a pineapple at night, go to bed, get back up, let the curls fall, shake that thing real quick, maybe hit it with a couple sprays, not too much because we need those curls to do their thing throughout the week, right? So does that make sense about the protective style versus a hairstyle? We can't just, we got to stop saying I have a protective style and it's causing harm. That is not a protective style. And like I said, was that last week? Was last week yeah, that was the part 2 of the history of black hair. So they didn't let everybody in their hair. We got to get back to that because you just can't let everybody in your hair. Hold on, y'all. So I say protective styles are needed. Okay, y'all picking up what I'm putting down. I like that. So I'm so glad that makes sense. And how many of you guys do protective style? So when I don't know if y'all was here last week, but since I have micro locks now, when I have had, so I know this is natural hair, but when I had like natural hair, the hair was loose. That's called loose leaf hair now. So if you've been here from, the jump, as I go forward and I talk about loose leaf hair, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when my hair was, just loose, out, not locked up. So when I had my loose leaf hair, that was one of the key things for me. First, it was getting that hair care regimen down. Once I got the hair care regimen down and was able to, stay on that, because sometimes it could be a bit much. Get that down. Then my next step, I said, dang, I'm doing my hair a bit too much. And so I started getting a lot of shedding. And let me throw this out here. So shedding, you lose 50 to 100 hairs per day. That's on average. Somebody can lose a little more, somebody can lose a little less, but on average, you're going to lose 50 to 100 hairs. That's their hair that's in this shedding phase. It's going to shed. So if your hair are in braids for a month and then you take the braids down and you think, oh, dang, I took these braids down, all my hair is coming out. I mean, it could if the braids were done too tight, but honestly, it's probably just all that shedded hair that wasn't able to shed. So if you're losing 50 to 100 hairs per day, that's in that shedding phase on average. Some could be a little less, some could be a little more. Just account for that and don't think that all your hair is coming out. And with that being said, I definitely lost where I was at. So if anybody's doing housekeeping, please let me know where I was at before I started talking about the shedding hairs. Anybody? What was I saying? Was I talking about the regimen? Boom. Okay. Thank you, Shakana, because, I feel like I still got mom brain real tough. Like, how I forget that fast? All right. Okay. So mastered the hair care regimen and then the protective style, because I was doing my hair too much. And so I was experiencing more shedding than I typically would. So I started doing the protective styles. And baby, it was golden after that. I mean, my stuff took off like That's what it was like. So protective styles are definitely helpful. They just have to be done properly. Yes, that loose leaf, that loose leaf hair. Yes, protective style. And then also, if you have your loose leaf hair, retaining length. A lot of people want to retain length. You have to cut those split ends. I don't know about y'all, but growing up, I never wanted to cut my ends because I done spent my entire life getting it to this length, and you trying to like, we going backwards. I don't need that in my life. I'm trying to get, but to get that longer hair, you have to get rid of the split ends. Those split ends are just going to travel up, and it's just, your hair is going to seem like it's not growing, and that's why you're stuck at the same length, because you're not cutting your split ends. Also, there's a schedule to cut your split ends. If anybody knows that schedule, put it in the chat so I can just like never mind it. Whatever that schedule is, bump all that for real, because there's people who take better care of their hair than others. So if you're somebody who doesn't, you don't really have a hair care regimen and you just kind of doing whatever with your hair, you're going to need your split ends cut probably on that schedule. But versus someone who has a hair care regimen and they're doing everything properly, the protective styles is on point. It's not too tight. They're taking it down. They're keeping the scalp clean. They're using light oils on the scalp, not heavy oils on the scalp. They're sealing in moisture so their ends don't get dry, catering to those ends because your ends is the oldest hair. They've been rocking with you so they do need that TLC. They're not gonna need their split ends cut as much, if that makes sense. And with the whole, I'm gonna start talking about locks a little bit, but I'm also gonna stay in my lane as I'm learning. And I'm only talking about micro locks because I don't know if it works the same as, other locks. So you don't want to use too much product on your locks. The lighter the product, the better. So if you have loose leaf hair, you could probably do that LOC method twice a week. You can't do that with no locks. You cannot do that. That stuff's gonna build up. And when you get buildup on the hair, it actually blocks the oxygen and everything that comes to that hair. So if you've ever had braids and that lint it gets trapped under there. And then sometimes you can lose a braid, like it has so much gunk on that braid that that whole thing just snapped. That's because the hair has been suffocated to the point where it's so weak. It has no oxygen, it has no minerals, it has no vitamins, it has nothing. It is so weak that it's that I'm gonna head out. And so really that's what I got for the truth about protective styles. Protective styles are protective styles. They are good. They are needed. It gives you that break. And your hair's not being over manipulated. Are there questions? It does not have to pertain to this topic, just whatever you have, if you have questions or concerns. So clipping ends, it will not prevent shedding, but it will allow your hair to get longer. You're going to have that shedding regardless because 10% of your hair is always going to be in that shedding phase. And towards the end of the year, I would say that fallish time is when you may have more shedding than usual. I would definitely consider a sew-in a protective style as long as it's not too tight. Because sometimes people want the braid patterns tight. You sewing the hair in and that's tight, and that's just too much stress because the when we if we have a stressful day, our hair feels that stressful day. So that on top of a too tight hairstyle, a lot of the times that's just too much for hair. And it's again, all right, I'm gonna head out, and then that's when we have issues. But yes, sew-in is definitely a protective style. Quick weave. I think y'all know. Would y'all say a quick weave is a protective style? I'm curious. Okay. What do you recommend for extremely dry scalp? So it would depend on what is causing the. Would you say that is the dry scalp dandruff, or is it like something like scalp psoriasis or dermatitis? And there's a few different kinds of dermatitis. And so how you could find that out is, so like, let me try to think. Let me see. I just, I would say it would depend on, okay, no to what? If it's something like dermatitis, I would definitely recommend a shampoo that can cleanse the scalp thoroughly. But with those, you definitely have to follow up with um, something to put that back in there because it is drying to the hair. Like Nizoral, I believe is called. They have a special ingredient that helps with the. Ooh, scabby under the locks. What color are these flakes? And yep, quick weave is a no, 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 no. Because yeah, that's glued to the hair. Even when you put something over it, the glue still gets in the hair unless you use that whole molding thing that uh it feels it feels like this when you knock on your head. And that's just depriving your hair of anything like what it needs. So yeah, I agree. Quick weave is a no. Oh, and sew-in. If you are for the sew-in, the leave out, if you have to continue to flat iron that leave out, just be very careful of that leave out area, and might want to do protein treatments on the leave out area. Okay, but the flakes. Let me see. Are the flakes like yellowish, or are they like silver, or just like, just dry skin? Just kind of what we all get, that dry skin on the scalp. If it's just like that dry skin on the scalp, I would say use a shampoo like Nizoral, and then use a tea tree essential oil on the scalp. Don't put tea tree essential oil on the scalp just all willy-nilly. Make sure you add it to a carrier oil like jojoba oil or something, sweet almond oil, something like that. Oh, I am just loving all of this today, y'all. Y'all are just, shout out to y'all. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, yep. That's what I would use. And it's probably just a mild case. If it's a more severe case, you can do things like high frequency treatment or something. You are very welcome, and thank you for joining, Passion. I thank all y'all for joining, really. And I'm not, uh, I am professional, but I'm not in my professional setting, and so I appreciate that y'all appreciate, the more relaxed dialogue. We have about 5 more minutes. Anything else? Is there any ideas for topics that you guys have for next week? Otherwise, I'm gonna do my thing and come up with something. But is there something that you want me to talk about? Oh, and Shekinah, go ahead and drop the link for the Pow Her Summit. Aruka Hair Loss Center will be in the building. You can get your tickets. If you are a Black woman and you are ready to be just like inspired, motivated, to just keep going. Because, sometimes as Black women, we get tired. We get tired. And kind of that's what I was feeling when the hair thing popped out like that. Like, I'm tired. Any protective styles that can go over locks. Oh, wrong one. My fault. But yeah, anything that I don't know. I don't know. I want to say the box braids over them could be cool as long as it's not done too tight. But honestly, I don't know. That was to that. Okay. Potential topic. Oh, that kitchen where you got the little beady beads. And my Martin voice. Okay. How to get that to grow? That kitchen. Children's. My daughter done said children's hair for next week. She trying to get on my live, y'all. Tough. Okay. So y'all want to talk about the beady beads. I gotcha. We have to I'll think of something for a children's topic. Okay, we're gonna do something about the beady beads, y'all. I got y'all. One of these days you will be. One of these days you will be. We'll get it together. Okay. I enjoyed y'all this evening. Y'all gotta pop out like this more often. I gotta do another about me because the about me video that I did, I don't think I gave myself justice. But through these videos, I think y'all get a little piece of my personality. So next week we'll talk about that kitchen, how to maintain that and get that going on how it needs to be. I think that's a good topic. So until next time, y'all, I hope you guys learned something. I appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys for joining. So yeah, until next time. Peace.